It is 7 o'clock on the dot from the Integrity Station, Splash 105.5 FM. We're reaching you live from the Big Brown Roof city called Ibadan, the capital of Oyo State. It's a beautiful Friday morning. Thank God it's Friday. And of course, thank God you're here as well. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be your host this morning on your favorite breakfast show on the radio here in the southwest of the country. I'm Ronke Giwa Onafuwa, and this is the Morning Splash. All right, so on the show this morning, we're kicking off, as usual, with Straight from the Dailies. We'll be looking at the stories making headlines in Nigerian newspapers. I'm glad you've joined me because there's so many interesting news stories I'm sure that you definitely want to know about. Of course, it's a bonus edition. You can listen to the extended versions on Mondays, Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays with Charity Jerome, between Charity Jerome, myself, and Shewa Kiola. Monday, of course, Charity will be here. Tuesday, I will be back here, where we're going to be going from 6:30 all the way until 7:20. All right, much longer time to look at the stories and much longer time to share your reactions and comments. On Fridays, we just look at the headlines, take a few stories, and of course, just to educate you and to enlighten you on what's happening in the papers. You can send text messages, even though you cannot call in, you can send text messages. So please feel free to text into 080-5699-8678. That is 080-5699-8678. All right, let's start with COVID-19 updates, with Nigeria recording 708 new COVID-19 infections. 708 COVID-19 infections. Also in the papers, Buhari or Shibajo to get COVID-19 vaccine jabs publicly on Saturday. All right, so, well, now that the COVID-19 vaccines have landed, I'm glad that the vice president and the president are definitely leading by example to show people that, hey, COVID-19 vaccine is not going to make you start barking like a dog. Because so many people have shared all sorts of weird weird stories and weird ideas as to how the COVID-19 vaccine will affect everybody. And all of them obviously are unfounded. They're all unfounded and they are not proven. We have seen people who have taken the COVID-19 vaccine. In fact, there are countries where they have been taking it for weeks. And obviously, we haven't heard of anybody, turning into a scorpion or something ridiculous like that. So I'm glad that this Saturday we get to watch the president and the vice president that get the COVID-19 vaccine. It would definitely allay the fears of the many people who are saying they would not get it because they feel that obviously someone's trying to inject the 666 into them. Now, President Muhammadu Buhari will receive his jab of the COVID-19 vaccine on Saturday, a day after its rollout in the country on Friday. Also scheduled to join him in receiving the vaccines are the Vice President, Yemi Osinbajo, as well as the Secretary to the Government of the Federation and Chairman of the Presidential Task Force on the COVID-19 pandemic, Mr. Boss Mustafa. This was disclosed at the Presidential Villa, Abuja, on Thursday, during the regular presidential briefing featuring the Ministry of Health. Speaking on the planned rollout of the vaccines, the Executive Director, National Primary Healthcare Development Agency, Dr. Fasari Shoaib, said the President and the other senior administration officials would publicly take vaccines to increase public confidence in it and overcome vaccine hesitancy. There's a lot of vaccine hesitancy. I mean, the last time we took a poll and we asked people how many people would take it. I think more than 50% said they would not be taking it. Well, he said the study revealed that only 50% of Nigerians say they would definitely take the vaccines, making it imperative to demonstrate that the vaccine is safe and effective. He said after launch of the rollout of the vaccines on Friday at the National Hospital Abuja, priority will be given to frontline workers in the health sector. He said the second group will be the elderly and the vulnerable before people who have no propensity to get the infection would be considered. All right, so this Saturday we get to watch President Buhari and Vice President Osinbajo get the COVID-19 vaccines publicly. Would that allay your fears? I really would like to know. Would that make you feel more confident or more comfortable to take the COVID-19 vaccine, especially if you had earlier thought, no, definitely not. I would not be doing that. All right, also in the papers this morning, an interesting story where after 6 days, the Amalgamated Union of Food and Cattle Dealers of Nigeria, AFUSIDAN, and Northern Consensus Movement, NCM, have agreed to call off the food embargo it imposed on the South over alleged attacks on their members. Leadership of the unions took the decision following an extensive dialogue and deliberation with the Kogi State Governor Yahaya Bello at the State Governor's Lodge in Abuja on Wednesday. The groups were led by the AFUSIDAN President, Dr. Mohammed Tahir, with former Minister of Aviation, Chief Femi Fani-Kayode, who was in attendance at the meeting. Dr. Tahir and chairman of the union across the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory and other critical stakeholders had earlier met with Bello before another meeting with the Chief of Staff to the President, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, at the Presidential Villa on Wednesday. Bello confirmed this on Wednesday when, along with former Aviation Minister Chief Femi Fani-Kayode, he led the leadership of the union to the Presidential Villa to request for the intervention of President Muhammadu Buhari on issues leading to the recent food blockade. Speaking to correspondent after the meeting with Professor Gambari, Governor Bello said the union had tabled a list of demands which must be met to avert a recurrence. And so obviously this is another developing story for the past about 2 weeks or after the aftermath of the Shasha situations. We had, some people say Northerners had decided not to bring food this way. And different reactions had followed that decision. But I'm glad that they've been able to come together to dialogue and to obviously lift this embargo. Yes, I hope that this does not mean that the Southwestern governors will once again go back to sleep on food and agriculture, but that they take this as a sign that, hey, anything can happen. And so if something does happen, it may not necessarily be a bad thing. It may just be that anything can happen. It might just be that the North may not be able to supply food here because maybe, I don't know, they may not have enough. Who knows? But it just means that everyone has to sit up and not relent and make sure that if you can, focus on agriculture, make sure the Southwest can be sufficient with food. Please do so. Because this is just a taster of anything that can happen. All right. Also in the papers this morning, another interesting story in the Tribune newspaper. Renowned Islamic scholar Sheikh Gumi has said those who instigated civil war, where millions of people were killed, were pardoned. Why not do the same to bandits? Well, he also said for Nigeria to get out of banditry and achieve peace, the bandits must be forgiven. Sheikh Gumi, a self-appointed peacemaker between the bandits and the government, pointed out that even those that instigated the civil war, that millions of people died, were pardoned. I see no reason why we cannot accept bandits' repentance and give them amnesty. He further argued that you ask why do we give them amnesty, but they told us specifically that they are ready to drop their arms and they don't want to be pursued with legal actions after they repented. He continued that if the country could pardon plotters who committed treasonable offenses in the era of military administration, the bandits can as well enjoy similar forgiveness, even better under democratic rule. He made this known on Thursday in Kaduna while expressing his reservation over the statement made against him by CAN, that's the Christian Association of Nigeria. What do you think about this? I mean, these are supposed to be the thought leaders who are there in the public who are speaking. So, and there are people who obviously take his words, to be kosher. So what do you think about this? He's referring to, times in time past when we had, perhaps the Biafran War and stuff like that. And he's comparing that to people who by themselves just chose to and decided to start to kidnap people and start to burn people's houses and kill people, etc. Well, I want to know what your thoughts are, what your stance is. I've read, three very interesting stories. President Buhari and President Osinbajo taking the vaccines publicly. Sheikh Gumi saying that if you can pardon those who were involved in, civil war, then why can't bandits be pardoned? Also, we've read of the embargo lifted with the North deciding to return to South for commerce. Well, what are your thoughts? We'd like to know what your thoughts are. It is 9 minutes gone past 7 o'clock. Let's take a few more headlines here and there. There's a video of Otom mocking critics over Buhari's shoot-on-sight order. Yes, there's a shoot-on-sight order. And that's another interesting one, even though critics have taken that and pulled that apart. But apparently there's a video where President Otom is mocking those who had criticized the president, saying that you can see it in the Punch newspaper, I believe. Yes, the Punch newspaper. You can watch it. You can have a good read up on that. All right, let's take more. Fake Chevron worker arraigned for defrauding APC government aspirant of 4.5 million naira. Also in the papers this morning, Akeredolu orders recitation of Oodua anthem in schools. This is another story that's causing a bit of a controversy out there. It's in the Punch newspaper. And this is the governor of Ondo State now. And it's made it compulsory for all pupils and students in the state to recite the Oodua anthem in their schools. The order reportedly affects all the private and public institutions from primary to tertiary level in the state. This was contained in a circular sent to all stakeholders from the State Ministry of Education, Science and Technology. The circular was signed by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Mr. Akin Ashaninyo. The circular titled Recitation of Oodua Anthem in All Schools was made available to a Punch correspondent on Thursday in Akure. And he read in part, please note that as the just concluded inter-schools debate and award ceremony organized by Ondo State Ministry of Education, Science and Technology held on Thursday, February 25, 2021 at the International Culture and Event Center, Asadome, Governor Rotimi Akeredolu announced that the state has adopted the Oodua anthem and it is to be recited by the residents of the state. What do you think about this? All right, send your text messages real quickly to me. I'd love to read it. 080-5699-8678. Does this make you feel a little, is it bizarre that it's asking that another anthem, apart from the national anthem? National anthem is all we know. We're all Nigerians, aren't we? So asking, people to adopt another anthem, is that weird? Is that bizarre? Okay. All right. So send in your text messages. Let me see. Send in your text messages. I've got about 5 minutes. I'd love to hear your thoughts on the few stories I've taken this morning. All right. You can text to 080-5699-8678 or 0706-949-3000. All right. Would love to hear from you this morning. All right. Okay. Let's hear your thoughts. If you're on Twitter as well. All right. Let me go to Twitter. I know Twitter never fails. I have a few people who are always just constant on Twitter, and I appreciate you. Raji Afis Abidemi. Let me see. There's another gentleman, Unwaneri, and quite a few of the other people who are, constant on Twitter, who are constantly reacting and commenting to the stories making headlines. So if you're here this morning, I would love to read your thoughts on the few stories that we have taken. The stories of President Buhari and Vice President Osinbajo taking their vaccines publicly. Would love to hear your thoughts on that. Okay, I think I saw. Okay, Dario Laolua says if the Hausa traders let them keep their food stuff till next year, they'll be the one to beg at last. All right, do you agree with Dari? Thank you very much, Dario Laolua. Okay, all right. So number to call is 080-5699-8678. All right, I'd love to hear your thoughts. And of course, what are your thoughts on Governor Akeredolu adopting the Oodua anthem, making it mandatory for schools to recite the Oodua anthem? Does this stop them from reciting the national anthem as well? Or, do you feel like, it's a little, contradictory considering that we have an anthem already? All right, so share your thoughts. Also, your thoughts on the Northerners returning to the South to sell, to, make food available. What are your thoughts? All right. Also, this here story says President Muhammadu Buhari has directed the Nigeria Immigration Service to improve surveillance and control around the nation's borders and ensure that criminal elements don't find Nigeria as a safe haven to hide and perpetrate their criminality. He made the declaration in a speech at the virtual commissioning ceremony of the Nigeria Immigration Service Technology Building in Abuja, instructing all security agencies to raise their performance in protecting lives and property with a mandate that the country's global security index must be improved. A statement issued by Femi Adesina, special advisor to the president, media and publicity quoted him as saying it is imperative that our ranking in the global security index improves. I've got a text here. And this text here says the fact is that the federal government is not serious in providing good governance. Let nobody be fooled by the shoot on sight order by the president, as the order will only be used to mop up firearms from other ethnic groups, thereby exposing them to attack from enemies. How can firearms be withdrawn from an ethnic group who has the right to do so, according to Bauchi governor? The president is tribalistic. This text says the president is tribalistic, hence nothing good will come out from this government. Fashion lawyer, you've given up on this administration. Okay, well, the race to 2023, well, we haven't got too much long. So for people like you who are already tired, well, I hope you've got your voter's card. I hope you are sensitizing the people around you. It's not only enough for you to get your voter's card. Sensitize the people around you as well to get theirs, and perhaps you can amass an army to voting whoever you want. All right, number to call is 08. Number to text to, actually, is to text. So if you're calling in, I know lots of people want to call in, but unfortunately I haven't got time. So there's no point starting what I cannot finish. All right, so you can only text 080-5699-8678. Would love to hear from you this morning. Okay, Twitter is a little silent this morning. What's going on? All right. Well, I guess our guys are used to us being here earlier. Bear in mind, on Fridays, we start straight from the dailies at 7 a.m. on the dot. 7 o'clock on the dot. 7 o'clock on the dot. All right. And it's about 15-20 minutes. All right. So thank you for your messages. Thank you for the calls. I know I couldn't take... So many people were calling. Sorry, I could not take the calls because, like I said, I don't want to start what I can't finish. So, unfortunately, next Friday, ensure that you send your text in ahead of time. I'd love to read text messages. I'd love to read tweets, especially on Friday. So let's make that a date next time. Okay? All right. Thank you once again. We've got Beyond the Surface at 8 o'clock. I don't know if you saw the video of this young man who was talking about how they intelligently hack people's ATM and get money out of people's accounts. We're going to talk about that at 8 o'clock. So we're also going to give tips on how to ensure that you avoid being victim to such people. All right, at 8 o'clock. I'm Ronke Giwa Onafuwa. Good morning.
Splash FM 105.5.
Babes, good morning.